In a world that constantly encourages us to buy more, own more, and accumulate more, it's easy to find ourselves surrounded by clutter, both physically and mentally. The idea that more is better is deeply woven into the fabric of modern society. But what if the opposite were true? What if owning less could actually lead to a happier, more peaceful mind? Let's explore the profound mental benefits of embracing a lifestyle with fewer possessions, and why simplifying your surroundings can have a transformative impact on your well-being. Imagine waking up in a space that feels open, calm, and free from the weight of unnecessary belongings. There's no scramble to find what you need, no frustration as you trip over things you rarely use. This is the essence of minimalism, a way of living that places value on quality over quantity, on intentionality over excess. When you choose to own less, you're making a conscious decision to prioritize clarity, focus, and mental freedom. One of the most immediate mental benefits of owning less is reduced stress. Cluttered environments can be overwhelming, sending constant signals to our brains that there are tasks to be completed and decisions to be made. Every item in our field of vision represents a potential distraction or responsibility, whether it's a pile of unread books, clothes that no longer fit, or gadgets gathering dust. Studies have shown that visual clutter increases cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. By eliminating the excess, you remove a significant source of daily anxiety, creating a space that naturally calms the mind. With fewer possessions, you also gain the mental clarity that comes from having less to focus on. When your environment is tidy and organized, your thoughts have room to breathe. You're no longer bogged down by mental inventory, wondering where something is, or whether you should finally get around to fixing or donating it. This clarity carries over into other areas of life, helping you make decisions more efficiently and with greater confidence. You start to notice what truly matters and what's simply taking up space. Owning less also fosters a deeper sense of gratitude and appreciation for what you do have. When your life isn't filled with endless options and distractions, you begin to value the things you've chosen to keep. Each item has a purpose, a story, or a function that enhances your daily experience. This intentional relationship with your belongings cultivates mindfulness, anchoring you in the present moment and helping you find joy in simplicity. Another powerful mental benefit of owning less is the freedom from comparison and consumerism. In a culture that bombards us with advertisements suggesting we need the latest trends or gadgets to be happy, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring our worth by the things we own. By consciously choosing a simpler life, you step off the endless treadmill of wanting and acquiring. You begin to see that happiness doesn't depend on accumulating more, but on making the most of what you already have. This shift in mindset brings a profound sense of contentment and self-acceptance. Decluttering your physical space can also lead to improved productivity and creativity. Without the mental noise that comes from clutter, your mind is free to wander, explore, and innovate. Many creative thinkers and successful individuals credit their most significant breakthroughs to environments that are free from distraction. The blank spaces around you become a canvas for new ideas, allowing your imagination to thrive. Whether you're working from home, pursuing a hobby, or simply relaxing, owning less creates the room you need to focus deeply and work effectively. Minimalism also encourages healthier relationships. When you're not preoccupied with managing, maintaining, or upgrading your possessions, you have more time and energy to invest in the people around you. Experiences, conversations, and shared moments take center stage over material goods. You learn to connect with others based on values and interests, not just the things you own. This leads to more meaningful relationships, deeper connections, and a greater sense of belonging. One of the hidden advantages of owning less is the increased ability to handle change and uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and when we're weighed down by too many possessions, even small transitions can feel daunting. Moving homes, traveling, or making life changes becomes much simpler when you're not attached to an excess of material goods. This flexibility can bring a sense of empowerment, making it easier to adapt and embrace new opportunities. There's also a financial dimension to the mental benefits of owning less. When you're not constantly buying new things or maintaining unnecessary possessions, you save money and reduce financial stress. This financial freedom can open doors to new experiences, personal growth, or simply peace of mind knowing that you're living within your means. The less you need, the more you can focus on building a secure and fulfilling life. Perhaps most importantly, owning less helps you align your life with your true values and priorities. It's easy to lose sight of what's important when our days are filled with the pursuit of things. By simplifying, you create space to reflect on what matters most, whether it's family, health, creativity, or personal growth. You become more intentional about how you spend your time, energy, and resources, leading to a life that feels purposeful and authentic. The journey to owning less doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process of letting go, of releasing not just physical objects, but also old habits, expectations, and fears. Each decision to keep or discard is an opportunity to clarify what you want your life to look like. As you pare down, you may discover that what you truly crave isn't more stuff, but more freedom, joy, and peace. Ultimately, the mental benefits of owning less go far beyond a tidy home. They touch every aspect of your well-being, from reduced stress and increased clarity to stronger relationships and a deeper sense of purpose. By choosing simplicity, you reclaim your time, your space, and your mind. You create a life that reflects who you are, not just what you own. And in that space of less, you may just find more than you ever imagined. For many people, anxiety is an ever-present companion, an undercurrent of worry, stress, and unease that can cloud even the brightest days. In our fast-paced, constantly connected world, this feeling can intensify, fueled by clutter, obligations, and the relentless pressure to do more, have more, and be more. But what happens when we decide to step away from that cycle? For me, the answer was minimalism, a deliberate choice to simplify my life, and in the process, find a measure of peace I hadn't thought possible. My journey into minimalism began not with a grand plan, but with a single moment of overwhelm. I remember standing in my living room, surrounded by piles of things, books I hadn't read, clothes I never wore, gadgets gathering dust. Every corner of my home seemed to echo with unfinished tasks and unmet expectations. The clutter wasn't just physical, it weighed on my mind, fueling a constant sense of anxiety that made it hard to relax or even think clearly. I realized that my environment was a reflection of my inner state. The more things I accumulated, the more chaotic I felt. Every object was a tiny decision waiting to be made, a responsibility I hadn't asked for but now had to manage. The anxiety wasn't just about the stuff itself, it was about what it represented. Obligations, memories, aspirations, and even guilt. That's when I stumbled across the concept of minimalism. At its core, minimalism is about intentionally focusing on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. It's not about deprivation or living with nothing. It's about making space for clarity, purpose, and peace. I started small. The first step was to declutter not just my home, but my entire life. I asked myself a simple question. Does this item, activity, or commitment add genuine value to my life? If the answer was no, or even a hesitant maybe, I let it go. Clearing out my physical space was both liberating and surprisingly emotional. Some items were easy to part with, but others carried memories or the weight of what if? What if I needed this someday? What if letting go meant losing a part of myself? But as I sorted, donated, and discarded, I began to feel lighter. Each item I released seemed to take a little bit of my anxiety with it. The impact went beyond my home. Minimalism encouraged me to audit my calendar, my social commitments, even my digital life. I started saying no to events that didn't align with my values, unsubscribing from emails that cluttered my inbox, and limiting time on social media. Instead of filling every moment with activity, I allowed myself the space to rest, reflect, and just be. One of the biggest changes was learning to embrace silence and solitude. In the past, I'd used busyness as a shield against anxiety, thinking that if I just kept moving, I wouldn't have to face my worries. But in the quiet, I discovered that my mind was capable of settling, of finding calm amidst the chaos. Minimalism gave me permission to slow down and reconnect with myself. As the clutter receded, I noticed tangible changes in my anxiety. My home became a sanctuary, a place where I could relax without feeling overwhelmed. I found it easier to focus, to make decisions, and to enjoy the present moment. Instead of constantly chasing after more, I started to appreciate what I already had. Minimalism also helped me challenge the myths I'd internalized about success and happiness. I used to believe that more was always better. A bigger wardrobe, a fuller schedule, a longer list of achievements. But the pursuit of more had only led to more anxiety. Minimalism taught me that contentment doesn't come from accumulation, but from intentionality, choosing what matters and letting go of the rest. The process wasn't always easy. There were moments of doubt, times when I worried I was missing out or falling behind. But each step reaffirmed the core truth of minimalism. Less really can be more. By paring down my possessions, commitments, and distractions, I created space for the things that truly nourished me: relationships, creativity, and peace of mind. Of course, minimalism didn't erase my anxiety entirely. I still have days when worries creep in or stress feels overwhelming. But now, I have tools and habits that help me cope. When I feel anxious, I look around at my uncluttered space and remember how far I've come. I remind myself that I have the power to choose what I let into my life and what I let go. Minimalism also deepened my gratitude. With fewer distractions, I became more aware of the beauty in everyday moments: a quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, a favorite book. I learned to savor experiences instead of collecting things, to value quality over quantity in every area of my life. Looking back, I realized that minimalism wasn't just about getting rid of stuff. It was about reclaiming my time, my energy, and my peace of mind. It's about being intentional in a world that constantly urges us to do more and have more. It's about recognizing that our worth isn't measured by our possessions, but by how we live and how we feel. If you're struggling with anxiety, I encourage you to consider the principles of minimalism. Start small. Clear a single drawer, say no to one unnecessary commitment, turn off notifications for an afternoon. Notice how it feels to create a little more space in your life. You might be surprised by how much lighter you feel. Minimalism isn't a magic cure, but for me, it's been a powerful tool in managing anxiety and finding a greater sense of peace. By letting go of the excess, I discovered what truly matters. And in that discovery, I found a calmer, more grounded version of myself. In the end, minimalism is less about what we remove and more about what we make room for. For me, it made room for clarity, gratitude, and a quieter mind. And that, more than anything else, has helped ease my anxiety and bring a deeper sense of contentment to my life.